This is the reason I'm doing this song today is special request of Eddie Stubbs. And Eddie.
Country music just lost one of its brightest stars. But what happened in Jeannie Seely's final days has left fans heartbroken and asking questions. A Grand Ole Opry legend, gone at 85, and what surfaced at her funeral shocked even her closest friends. Stick with us because the tribute you didn't see on TV reveals far more than anyone expected. Jeannie Seely wasn't just another name in country music. She was the voice, the grit, the soul of the Grand Ole Opry for over half a century. But now, with her sudden passing at 85, fans, colleagues, and even country music historians are scrambling to piece together the final chapter of her incredible life. In this video, we're diving deep into the untold truth behind Jeannie Seely's final days, her emotional farewell at the Grand Ole Opry, and what her funeral tributes really reveal, including details the media barely touched on. You'll learn how her legacy shook the country music world, what surprising voices came forward after her death, and the controversial decisions made during her funeral that have fans divided. This is more than just a tribute. It's a behind-the-scenes story you haven't heard yet. You won't believe who showed up unexpectedly to honor her or who didn't. And as we'll reveal later, there's one message delivered at her funeral that stunned the entire audience into silence. So grab a seat and let's walk through the life, legacy, and final moments of the incomparable Jeannie Seely. Before we get to the emotional goodbye, we have to understand why this loss cuts so deep. Jeannie Seely was more than just a singer. Born in Titusville, Pennsylvania in 1940, Jeannie grew up on the simple harmonies of traditional country, but with a fire in her heart that refused to stay small town. By her early 20s, she'd packed her bags and headed for Nashville, chasing the same dream millions have tried to catch, but only few ever truly hold. And Jeannie? She caught it. Her breakout moment came in 1966, with the emotionally charged hit, Don't Touch Me, a song that would not only define her but reshape the female voice in country music. At a time when women were often pushed aside in the industry, Jeannie stepped up with bold lyrics, heartbreaking vocals, and undeniable charm. She quickly became known for her sharp wit, signature blonde hair, and most of all, her raw honesty in every performance. But it wasn't just her voice that made her a star. In 1967, she became one of the youngest women ever inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, a stage she would go on to dominate for over 55 years. Jeannie was a rare figure in country music, a performer who not only had hits, but also shaped the culture of the Opry itself. She was the first woman to host segments of the Opry regularly. She pushed for gender equality backstage, and she was never afraid to speak her mind, even if it ruffled feathers with the old guard. "They call me the Seely you later girl," she once joked, "because I never stick to what's expected." Even as the decades passed, Jeannie's presence never faded. In her later years, she mentored young stars, collaborated with legends like Willie Nelson and Bill Anderson, and was always dressed to kill on stage. To country fans, she was family. To the Opry, she was foundation. And to rising female artists, she was a pioneer who never stopped fighting. But as we'll see in the next chapter, even icons have quiet battles. And Jeannie's final months were filled with a hidden struggle, one that few saw coming. As vibrant and strong as Jeannie Seely appeared on stage, something had changed in the last year of her life. Her presence at the Grand Ole Opry had once been clockwork, consistent, confident, and full of spark. But in the months leading up to her passing, fans began to notice subtle shifts. Her voice was still smooth and stirring, but a little less forceful. Her famously high-energy banter between songs, a bit quieter. Her schedule, once filled with tour dates, charity appearances, and Opry hosting duties, began to thin out. She looked tired, one fan wrote after her final Opry performance, like she was holding something in, something she wasn't ready to tell us. Jeannie Seely's last public appearance. Her final performance at the Grand Ole Opry was on a warm April evening, and it was unforgettable for reasons few understood at the time. Wearing a shimmering blue gown and smiling through visible exhaustion, Jeannie took the stage and sang one of her signature songs, "Can I Sleep in Your Arms Tonight?" Her voice cracked, not out of error but emotion. And when the final note echoed through the Opry house, she didn't bow and leave the stage as usual. She stood still, soaking it all in. Was it a goodbye? Many now believe. Yes. At the time, however, no official announcement followed. No farewell tour, no press release. Just a sudden and growing insiders say she had been quietly battling a chronic illness. While her team remained tight-lipped, close friends hinted at long-term respiratory issues, possibly COPD or related complications, but out of respect, never confirmed specifics. Friends speak out. After her death, several close collaborators broke their silence. She didn't want anyone to worry about her, said country songwriter Bill Anderson. She kept saying, "I want people to remember me singing, not sick in a hospital bed." That one sentence revealed volumes. Despite increasing hospital visits, ongoing treatments, and physical strain, Jeannie kept her illness private, even from many of her closest industry friends. She didn't want pity. She wanted music. In one of her final interviews, conducted just weeks before her passing, she reflected on her legacy. "The curtain always falls eventually," she said. "But when it does, I hope people remember that I loved the music and I meant every word I sang." Health concerns kept quiet. There were signs, but they were easy to miss. In January, she canceled a surprise appearance at the Country Music Hall of Fame. In February, her publicist issued a vague statement citing travel fatigue. By March, fans noticed Jeannie hadn't updated her social media, something she loved to do, especially to promote Opry shows or share personal milestones. The silence grew louder. One particular moment raised questions. A grainy cell phone video posted by an audience member showed Jeannie briefly losing balance on stage. She smiled it off and kept singing. But now, looking back, it appears to have been a physical warning no one could see at the time. "She wanted to go out on her own terms," said Marty Stewart in a tribute, and she did, strong, proud, and standing in the circle. But here's where it gets even more heartbreaking. Her passing didn't come with an official announcement from the Opry at first, and what happened in the hours after her death stunned fans and insiders alike. On the morning of July 22nd, 2025, the world woke to heartbreaking news. Jeannie Seely, the woman known lovingly as Miss Country Soul, had passed away peacefully at the age of 85. But what shook people wasn't just that she died. It was how quietly it happened. There was no dramatic announcement, no fanfare, no immediate public tribute from the Grand Ole Opry. Just a short, somber press release from her longtime publicist. Jeannie Seely passed away peacefully in her sleep at her Nashville home, surrounded by family. The statement was simple. Too simple, some fans thought. For someone who gave her life to country music, who lived and breathed the Opry, the lack of initial fanfare felt jarring. A strange silence from the Grand Ole Opry. In the hours following the announcement, something strange happened. The Grand Ole Opry's official website made no immediate mention of Seely's death. Her name was still listed on the upcoming performers section. Fans flooded the Opry's social media with confused and sometimes angry comments. "Why isn't the Opry saying anything? She gave you 55 years. This silence is disrespectful." It took nearly 12 hours for the Opry to issue a formal statement. "Today, we mourn the loss of a legend. Jeannie Seely was the heart and humor of the Opry family, and her absence leaves a void we cannot fill." While the message was heartfelt, many felt it was too little, too late. Speculation began to swirl online. Was her passing expected? Was there tension behind the scenes? Or was the delay a result of a disagreement over how her legacy should be honored? Though no verified rift has been confirmed, country insiders hinted at long-standing creative differences between Seely and certain Opry executives over how traditional artists were treated. One Nashville radio host tweeted, "Jeannie Seely was the Opry. If they fumbled her tribute, they fumbled history." But then, something incredible happened, the night the Opry fell silent. Just 3 nights later, the Grand Ole Opry held a show unlike any other. There was no usual opening banter, no sponsors, just a single spotlight on the famed wooden circle in the center of the stage. Without introduction, a string quartet emerged and began playing the haunting melody of "Don't Touch Me," Seely's most iconic song. The arena fell absolutely silent. Then, a voice echoed from the speakers, a recording of Jeannie herself, taken from one of her live performances. "When you feel like crying, sing. When you're scared, sing louder." The entire audience stood. Some wept. Some closed their eyes. For many in attendance, it was the most emotional Opry moment of the decade. It was followed by a surprise appearance by Reba McEntire, who hadn't been scheduled to perform that night. Dressed in all black, she walked on stage and delivered a tear-soaked acoustic version of "Can I Sleep in Your Arms Tonight?" with no backup, no introductions. Afterward, Reba simply said, "She raised us. She raised this stage, and tonight, we sing for her." The funeral that stunned. Nashville. Just days later, Jeannie Seely's private funeral was held at the historic Ryman Auditorium, the mother church of country music and the site where Seely had performed for decades. The funeral wasn't open to the public, but clips and descriptions quickly surfaced. She didn't want a traditional service, no closed casket, no somber suits. Attendees were told in advance to come in boots and rhinestones, and many did. Inside, Dolly Parton sent a pre-recorded message, unable to attend in person due to health reasons. "Jeannie wasn't just my sister in song, she was my truth teller, my partner in sass, and my voice of reason in a crazy business. I'll see you again, darlin'. And we'll pick it up right where we left off." Another surprise? A letter from Loretta Lynn's family was read aloud, revealing that Jeannie had been one of Loretta's final visitors before her passing in 2022. Apparently, they'd made a pact to hold the door open for the next generation of country women. Those words were printed on the back of the funeral program. "Hold the door open, Jeannie Seely, 1940 to 2025. The last photo. Shortly after the funeral, a never-before-seen photo was posted by Jeannie's official Instagram. It showed her sitting on the Opry stage, alone, hours after her final performance. She's not smiling, just looking out at the empty seats, one last time. The caption? "Every note, every word, every night. I loved you back." Fans flooded the comments with heartbreak, gratitude, and memories. Many reposted the photo with the same words. "She loved us back." But what came after her funeral? That's where the story takes another turn. Jeannie Seely's passing may have silenced her voice, but it ignited a wave of tributes, conversations, and conflicts that are still unfolding in the country music world. A posthumous album in the works? Within a week of her funeral, Jeannie's longtime producer and estate executor Don Cusick confirmed rumors that had quietly circulated among Nashville insiders for years. Jeannie left behind a full vault of unreleased recordings, and we're currently preparing a tribute album featuring those vocals. According to sources close to the project, the album will feature duets with artists like Vince Gill, Alison Krauss, Willie Nelson, and Kelsey Ballerini, many of whom recorded their parts years ago for a legacy project that Jeannie had hoped to release on her 85th birthday. That album will now become a final gift to fans, with the tentative title, One Last Song. It's expected to debut this fall, and music historians are already calling it the most significant posthumous release by a female country artist since Patsy Cline. Who takes the circle? A brewing controversy. But as with any legacy, the question of who fills the space left behind is proving complicated. The Grand Ole Opry, long known for its tight-knit community, now faces a difficult decision. Who will take over Jeannie Seely's hosting slot? For decades, she was the only female artist regularly introducing acts, mentoring newcomers, and bringing humor to the stage. Insiders say there's a debate among Opry leadership about how to proceed. Several names have reportedly been floated to step into her shoes, including Ashley McBryde, known for her raw storytelling and Opry loyalty, Lainey Wilson, who often cited Jeannie as her country mama, Rissy Palmer, a rising advocate for women of color in country, and surprisingly, Casey Musgraves, though her relationship with the Opry has been complicated over the years, but the move to name a successor is already drawing backlash. "Jeannie can't be replaced," wrote one longtime fan. "Don't rush to fill her shoes. Let them sit empty for a while." Others argue the Opry has a rare opportunity to honor Seely's legacy by elevating underrepresented voices, just like she did during her time. Whichever path they take, one thing is certain: Jeannie's absence has left more than a vacancy. It's left a challenge. The Seely Foundation, carrying her fight forward. In a stunning move, Jeannie's estate announced the formation of the Jeannie Seely Foundation for Women in Country Music, a nonprofit aimed at mentoring young female artists, providing performance scholarships, and advocating for equality on Nashville stages. The foundation will be launched at the 2025 CMA Awards, where Jeannie is set to receive a posthumous Lifetime Impact Award. Her longtime friend Trisha Yearwood will present it. Sources say the night will feature a full-scale tribute performance, including Carrie Underwood, Wynonna Judd, and a holographic duet with Jeannie herself. What she meant, to understand and why the story resonates beyond music, you have to look at who Jeannie Seely was. Not just as an artist, but as a force. She spoke her mind. She opened doors. She didn't beg for a place at the table. She built her own. She broke dress codes at the Opry in the 1970s. She wrote songs about desire, heartbreak, and independence before it was trendy. She hosted, mentored, challenged, and celebrated everyone, from legends to rookies. And she did it all with laughter, even when things were falling apart behind the scenes. In an interview just months before she passed, Seely said, "If I leave behind one thing, I hope it's this, that it's okay to be exactly who you are. Even if it ruffles feathers, even if you sing a little off-key, sing anyway." Jeannie Seely's story isn't just a tribute, it's a reminder of the power of authenticity, grit, and grace. In an industry that often forgets its roots, she was a living bridge between the legends and the newcomers, the past and the future. And now, it's up to all of us, fans, musicians, and storytellers, to keep her flame alive. So what do you think about Jeannie Seely's passing? Should the Opry name a new host, or let her place stand as a permanent tribute? Are you excited or nervous about the posthumous album? Let us know in the comments. Your voice matters, and we read every single one. Like this video if you learned something new. Subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of music's most controversial and legendary figures. And share this video with someone who loved Jeannie Seely, because her story deserves to be heard. Thank you for watching. Rest in peace, Miss Country Soul. You may be gone from the stage, but your echo lives forever.